In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how the use of intermittent fasting as a protocol, as a variable, as a system will result in increased productivity, focus, output, efficiency, and state of flow with your work. Okay, so I get a huge amount of questions from both my clients and also you guys on my YouTube channel, and also obviously followers of my social media platforms, asking me about what my nutrition habits, routines, and protocols look like. So in today's video, I'm going to be deep diving into the topic of intermittent fasting from a perspective of getting into a deep flow state, okay? Not so much from a perspective of maximizing, let's say, our physical conditioning, so such as someone like Body would be focusing on in regards to his intermittent fasting protocol, but utilizing intermittent fasting to increase our productivity, focus, output, and get into a deep state of flow. So guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome first and foremost. My name is Billy Harris, and my area of expertise is helping high-performing entrepreneurs take their business to another level by mastering their health, reducing stress, optimizing performance, and reaching a state of peak performance. And I do all of this through the Peak Performance Program, which is my consulting service. Yo guys, guess what? Eating once a day makes you smarter and healthier. Let's dive into it. So guys, we're going to jump into a little bit of a different structure for today's video, and I actually use a keynote presentation which I've developed and then from there put in place for my peak performance consulting clients. So in terms of today's video, we're diving into the physiological systems that affect the working day. And this is one of the reasons as to why the use of intermittent fasting is so protocol. We want to maximize our productivity, efficiency, output, and ability to achieve our work-based tasks, okay? So first and foremost, physiological systems that affect the working day. The main physiological mechanism affecting the stability and general state of alertness during the working day is the regulation of blood sugar. So you guys may have heard of this concept of regulating blood sugars at certain points through, for example, like when you're raised about basic education in terms of nutrition systems when you're younger, or from there obviously regulation of that in regards to diabetics as well. But the regulation of blood sugar is incredibly important when it comes to physiological mechanisms which do affect the working day. Maintaining a stable level of blood sugar by refraining from overeating, continuous snacking, and frequent meals is key to productivity and clarity of mind, okay? So as human beings, we're not designed to be walking along a constant conveyor belt of a food buffet by eating 5 to 6 times per day, or depending on your meal frequency, some individuals do tend to eat, let's say, up to 5 times per day, which is just incredibly high. And at that point there, in regards to their blood sugar regulation, it's going to be very, very irregular. And if anything there, in regards to the spike and then the crash of that, it's very, very frequent, okay? So constant spikes and crashes in blood sugar are a significant factor in mood swings, hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, in particular can cause anxiety, irritability, edginess, and usually preceded by a significant drop in cognitive performance. Now, as individuals who work in the entrepreneurship space or high performance space looking to push their business towards multi-6 figures and 7 figures, the concept of having a peak state of cognitive performance is so incredibly significant. You guys must have noticed this before when you sat down to work for the day and you've had a big breakfast or something like that, and you finish your breakfast at 8 o'clock, you sit down at the desk or the office at 9 o'clock, and from there, the last thing you want to be doing is working because you feel sluggish, you feel like your head's heavy, your body's heavy, you're noticing you have a massive decline in energy, and that's because you're experiencing a blood sugar spike and trough, okay? So again, this is why the significance of intermittent fasting for the clients that we work with in our consulting program is so very important. Maintaining a constant level of blood sugar reduces hunger pangs and helps achieve a stable state of alertness throughout the working day. Okay. Also, just to add to this, in terms of the concept of intermittent fasting, it's so important in regards to reaching a peak state of productivity from the perspective of if you guys actually assess this, the amount of time you require to eat on a daily basis is pretty extensive for most individuals. I mean, obviously eating is a very social activity, but from there, obviously in terms of then taking time away from our work and our ability to actually work on the task at hand, it's pretty drastic. Okay. So foods and supplements that help regulate blood sugar levels. Again, this being really important in regards to assessing getting into a peak state or a deep flow state for work. Obviously, we can't regulate our blood sugar levels, then achieving that is going to be almost impossible. Okay, so here I've described the use of the GI index in regards to foods which obviously cause an irregularity in terms of blood sugars, and obviously in terms of reference of that. And then from there, in regards to how we then assess certain food sources we consume on a daily basis,
For the clients that we work with in regards to food sources, we do carry out a test with Biome, which is a gut health and microbiome assessing kit. Okay, so from there, obviously, we can assess the use of blood sugar regulation for our clients by putting in place an intermittent fasting protocol to make sure they don't experience a high and low in terms of energy, in terms of obviously brain capacity, and obviously cognitive performance. But to further that even more so, in terms of food sources we do then consume within the eating window we suggest for our clients, in terms of mitigating any inflammatory food sources, we actually then assess that with the use of Biome, because inflammation from food sources which are bad for you as an individual is almost as bad as eating like a ton of sugar and shitty foods on a daily basis, which then obviously then spike your blood sugars too. Okay, so foods and spices and supplements. Now, intermittent fasting as a protocol is very interesting, and I get asked a lot of questions about this on almost daily and obviously a weekly basis, okay? So, intermittent fasting means fasting for a significant portion of the day, for example, 16 hours, and consuming the daily food intake during the remaining eating window, for example, 8 hours. I myself, as you guys obviously I referenced to earlier in this video, I eat personally within a one eating window per day. So that's roughly 4 hours in the main. And the reason as to why that is because I want to maximize the time that I'm working on obviously my business and pushing that further forward. So from there, mitigating the amount of time I'm spent eating is going to obviously be conducive to that as well. Very, very important to assess. From there, in regards to my intermittent fasting protocol, at that point, I'm then mitigating any spike I could experience in blood sugars. And also, to then further that more so, in regards to the amount of energy used to process and digest food sources, it's pretty extensive, okay? And it's taking away from our brain's capacity to then actually be utilized and then from there hit a deeper state of flow work, okay? So again, I personally prefer to eat within a 4-hour window. The simplest way to implement this is to extend the overnight fast by skipping breakfast and enjoying the first meal of the day in the afternoon, okay? In practice, intermittent fasting works well as it allows for the consumption of satisfying meals during the eating window while maintaining a moderate overall energy intake. For example, the consumption of food, particularly carbohydrates, in the evening significantly reduces the level of stress hormone and promotes sleep, as well as stabilizing the secretion of leptin, ghrelin, and adenosine, which is burning fat hormone, okay? And also cortisol, I should add that in there. And consuming meals later in the evening also activates the parasympathetic nervous system, calming the body and making it easier to fall asleep, which then consequently will then further your HRV metrics, which is indicative of the amount of stress your body is under right now. Okay, so yeah, for the individuals that we work with in terms of the benefits of intermittent fasting, and you guys watching this video, they are extensive and multiple. Okay, we are not designed as human beings to be eating on a constant food conveyor belt 5 times per day. That is the last thing we should be doing, okay? In regards to the way we should be eating every day, if you look back, previously speaking, in terms of humankind as such, we've been eating only once per day, once we've obviously caught a meal, for example. And then from there, obviously, at that point, we can then feast on that meal and food source. So in terms of incorporating this for clients who we're working with to then push their business further forward by maximizing their productivity, efficiency, focus, mood, energy levels, etc., incorporating intermittent fasting is vital, okay? Sample pattern for a person who is physically active and works at / their office, okay? So fasting overnight and delaying the first meal as much as possible, usually until sometime between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., depending on the timing of the previous meal. This is very much important for you guys who are just getting into the concept of intermittent fasting, okay, or beginning to utilize that because you can see the advantage in regards to productivity, output, focus, and then from there, obviously, you've noticed that you're the individuals that you aspire to achieve some results as. So, for example, the clients that I work with who are earning high 6 figures and 7 figures, they all incorporate intermittent fasting, okay? While fasting, drink plenty of fluids such as mineral water, rich in minerals, delays hunger, and hunger may be further delayed for the first meal by consuming an apple, which is rich in fiber and relatively low energy, or consuming a cucumber, which may also delay hunger. Okay, at that point here, I then have a couple of recipes you guys can look to then utilize in regards to things you can consume, which then mitigate hunger. And then from there, obviously, actually then further increase the production of ketone bodies, which essentially your body's going to utilize as an energy source whilst fasting as opposed to glucose. Okay, ketone bodies are produced naturally by the body. You would have heard of the whole concept of ketosis, I am sure. Essentially reaching a minimal state of ketosis while fasting for extended periods of time. And these drinks or the consumption of them will benefit you more so in regards to then furthering the production of ketone bodies. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a Bulletproof coffee, which is a protein-rich fatty coffee, and then from there, a freshly pressed green juice. Okay, so in regards to the side aspect of things, that is all I prepared for today. I'm now going to jump back into the video format as normal, and shall see you guys on the other side.
So guys, to conclude, let's summarize how intermittent fasting will increase your productivity, focus, and output as a high-performing entrepreneur. Basically, intermittent fasting makes us smarter, healthier, and increases our ability to work. Imagine what 1 hour of focused and further sharp work every day, compounded over a period of 30 years, would achieve. Just think about it. It's absolutely incredible. Incorporating this variable, or this system, this principle into your daily life, and the compounding effect of that over a period of 30 years in regards to getting into a deep state of flow work is going to be exponential. Intermittent fasting is also natural. The whole concept of eating breakfast and eating 5 times a day avoids the question, the very obvious question: do you actually think we've evolved to eat an around-the-clock buffet, feeding ourselves food 5-6 times per day? Absolutely not. Think about it from a perspective of what hunter-gatherers would have been achieving, or from their putting in place on a daily basis, would have been eating literally maximum 1 or 2 per day. Incorporating intermittent fasting is going to make you smarter, more productive, and healthier. In conclusion, intermittent fasting really is a no-brainer. It's a bit hard at first, not necessarily on the body by any means, but more so on the mind in regards to resisting the temptation to eat on a frequent basis, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have, please click the thumbs up button, and then from there subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment in regards to what you thought of today's content. I should look forward to producing the next piece of content for you guys. Have a great weekend.